Good afternoon, everyone. I appreciate you coming on early. As always, I try to keep these webinars pretty quick. I start on time, no fooling around kind of thing. Um, so, what I want to go through today are probably five or six different concepts we are helping agents with on their websites in regards to AI, artificial intelligence. Obviously, I know quite a few of you. Some of you are my clients. Some of this stuff, like I said, you might be using. Other stuff is literally as new as 2 days ago that we started to implement and develop. I can tell you that this stuff is moving lightning fast. The stuff that we're able to do, and over a 3 month, 6 month period, how much better it gets and what we can do. So, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Ken French, and I'm the president and founder of Snoozy. And we're basically a husband and wife business. It's me and my wife. We've been doing this now for basically 17 years. Before running Snoozy, we used to have a family owned business. It was my father, myself. I actually met my wife there, married her there. She used to run our commissions department, and we used to be what you would call a general agency, a wholesaler. We worked with independent agents who sold employee benefits, life insurance, health insurance, Medicare, and that company ran for about 35 years. We ended up selling it in 2009. And by 2009, I was starting to build a lot of websites for our top agents. And when we sold the business, I decided to create my own company and keep doing that and taking it nationally. And, the amazing thing is 17 years later, I still probably have about 150 clients. They're my old broker friends from New Jersey and New York. That's where we are. Still got their websites with us. A few of you guys are still on today's call. It's amazing. But anyway, my point is our background is in the insurance industry. We've seen it since the beginning, the technology side. And we currently focus on website and social media help for independent agents, if you don't know who we are. But like I said, what I want to go through over the next 15 to 20 minutes is to just take you through some things we have developed. And I want to kind of review why we have developed them and how they are helping agents. So the first thing is more of a customer service AI tool that goes back about 6 months. And, every year I try my best to talk to my clients in December, January, February after open enrollment. And every year I feel a little bit like a therapist because everyone kind of is like, it was a tough go, Everyone is so demanding of me. But one of the things that I have heard over the last 5 to 10 years that's a consistent complaint is my client is calling me up on a Friday or Saturday evening, like after dinner, 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, and they're leaving a voicemail because I'm not in the office. And then I'm calling them back on Monday morning, first thing, and they're really upset with me because I didn't get back to them immediately the next day, which was a Saturday or whatever. So I've heard that, I started to hear that story dozens and dozens of times from people. And it got me thinking, at first I would kind of be like a therapist and say, people are just crazy, man. Like you've got to live your life. You can't be a slave to these people. But after I started to think about it, I said, well, wait a minute. This has happened in dozens and it's happened to everybody. Is everyone just crazy? Or is this a business model problem where the consumer is getting frustrated because they're kind of expecting a call back? Like we're not giving them any structure to what the system is. So we developed a little tool called kind of like the AI virtual assistant tool that we put on people's websites. And what it does is it integrates with the voicemail. So what I have told my clients is they go, look, we can put this little app on your site. You've got to go in there and change your voicemail, especially during AEP, to say, hey, look, it's the annual enrollment period. It's a little crazy. You can leave a voicemail and I will do my best to get back to you as soon as I can. Or you can go to, talkwithkaren.com, and there you can access my schedule to set up a time later today or tomorrow to talk to me. And, that's kind of what we did. We kind of set up this little bot that is smart enough to know that the call is coming in from the voicemail. And it kind of talks, you can see it over here on the right, it kind of talks to the person. So they've gotten the voicemail. They're now going to the website. Maybe it's 2 a.m. on a Saturday, night or whatever. And now they can click the agent's calendar, go in there, set up a call. And, long story short, for the clients that we've done that for, the feedback has been incredible. That all of that frustration from the consumer has gone away, because what we did is we created a very simple tool that you don't need to be a computer genius to handle, that creates structure, right? And it kind of keeps the consumer in line. Now they see that there's a system to getting helped, and they're following the system, and they're not panicking. They're not upset with the agent, because at the end of the day, I know this sounds crazy and people might disagree with me, but voicemail is not adequate customer service anymore. Like, people expect more real time something. So of course you can't sit there 24/7 at your desk. You have to take weekends off. You have to go to bed at night. But if you can create some basic structure, it puts you in a better position where people understand what the process is. So this tool I have seen really help. And, yes, it can have your calendar on there. I've had people where they'll have other tools on there, like where you can register for their events. They might do a special promotion where on the voicemail they promote, hey, every Thursday at 10 o'clock, we're at Carl's Library doing a Medicare 101. Stuff like that can be put on this portal as well as your SOA form, or any other, important hot links. So that kind of led me down the path where, that kind of solidified a lot of the customer service problems. But one of the things that I've kind of battled with clients over it's been probably 4 or 5 years, is, basically being able to brand yourself a little better. And I've always pushed my clients to make videos, right? And people say, well, why do I need a video? It's like, well, look, you could put a video on your homepage that introduces yourself, tells them why they should work with you, what your process is. You could put a video on your events page where it tells them why they should come to this event, what you're going to cover. More importantly, especially if you sell Medicare and health insurance, during the summer, you really should be able to, guys, I'm getting some people commenting they can't hear. Can everyone hear? If you can hear, just type into the GoToMeeting, yes, Ken, I can hear you. If you can't hear me, obviously you can't hear me. Can everyone hear me? Audio. Okay, good. Sorry for the frustration. Someone just said they couldn't hear me. Yes, I'm having people say they can hear. Okay. So anyway, going back, I have been a big believer with all of this churn and this turmoil in the AEP, ACA, that it is imperative for every agent to be proactive in June and July and August, and to try to stay in front of their clients. And the problem is nobody reads anymore, and they get bombarded with emails. So anyway, it got me thinking that, hey, these agents should be making videos that explain what the consumer can expect with the changes in AEP. And for about 2 years, I pushed this. I pushed it. No one was making videos. And it's the same kind of feedback. I don't know how to make a video. I don't look good in the video. It never sounds right. I'm not comfortable making videos. So last October, we developed a technology that allowed us to basically make videos for people who don't want to make their own. And you can see here that we kind of took this person's headshot and then created kind of an AI version of them, where, the video kind of introduces who they are and goes through why you should work with them. And again, this is more of a promotional video, but for me, the real point of these videos was to create some sort of page, a landing page, a funnel page that is being emailed out to the book of business in the summer, or even texted out that says, hey, look, starting October 15th, there's going to be some big changes in your market. These hospitals could be leaving the network, or these carriers might be leaving. I am here to educate you, advise you. Don't do anything without talking to me kind of thing. And having this video in there, I think it's so important because if you have 3, 4, 500 clients, you might not have seen some of these people in 6 to 12 to 18 months. So them seeing your face and remembering who you are, it just creates so much more of a focus where that person is going to watch it and do what you tell them to do. So anyway, we created this aspect that now all we need is a headshot. We can create, like I said, we can create kind of an AI version of you. We have you call into a phone number and say a little script, a sentence or two, and it replicates your voice. So it sounds just like you, it looks just like you, and these things can be put on your website, they can be put on landing pages, they can be sent out on social media. Once I have your picture and your voice, I can pretty much make videos in about 20 minutes. I'll go through, some samples of where those are. Actually, if you go to my site and you go into this new features button, you'll see some of these things. And the first thing is the AI custom video. And if you go to sample videos, you'll see down at the bottom here, I kind of have some different ones I created that fit, right? I have one for like the welcome, one for like promoting your workshops. To be honest, I had a lady, a little older, little not tech savvy, but I created an AI video of her promoting her workshops this past fall. She said she had record attendance. We put the video on the workshop page. She emailed it out. She posted it on Facebook. She did a few ads, the video reviewed why people should attend. Gosh, it can make such a difference, right? People kind of get what the purpose is. They see that you're credible. They register. Here's an example of a video we did about AEP and just kind of talks about, what you can expect and how it's going to work. Here was another sample about cross-selling annuities and life insurance to your clients. I mean, obviously these are custom videos. They can be, whatever you want them to be. But my point is that we've entered an age here in 2026 where you really should be making videos. I mean, that's the right answer. Obviously, if you can make them yourselves, fantastic. But if you hit the wall and you're stuck and you're not able to do it, I now have a solution for you. I charge $50 per video. That's it. That's basically my cost to create them. And we can easily get them on your site and put in some sort of strategy where you're using these. I think it's just something that's going to help with retention immensely. And obviously with generating referrals with people getting to know you. The second thing we created, and this is brand new, I'm trying to take people's branding to the next level on their website. One of the things I struggle with when I build websites for people is they never want to give me anything. Like I'm lucky to get a logo out of an agent. A lot of times I'll say, hey, look, do you have any pictures? Do you have any pictures of you sitting with clients or doing workshops? Or maybe community involvement. Do you have pictures of yourself playing bingo with everybody? And it's the same answer from everyone. Well, I do all that stuff, but I don't have any pictures right now of it. And that's fine, I get it. But those kind of things can really help a website. They can really take it to the next level and make it look so much more personalized. So one of the new tools I just created was what I would call AI animation, where we can take your headshot, we can put you into a scene. So this one example is just this guy doing a seminar, reviewing life insurance and income planning and tax-free retirement. But we could, we can have a scene of you sitting with a client, or we can turn you into a cartoon superhero where you fly in on your website and say, I'm here to educate you today. We can do anything. And if you kind of look at this one example, I mean, I know this is a little small. I'll send you another one. Again, this is just all AI created. Here's another example that's a little bit more powerful on one of my sample sites where we take, this girl's headshot. She's sitting with clients, reviewing their Medicare plans. Stuff like that can easily be done very, very affordably, where back in the day, it would have cost $10,000, $20,000 to go to some crazy publishing company where they'd have to physically film it and shoot it. Now in 5 minutes, we can create it. So for me, again, I've been in this industry a very long time. I'm getting old. It's sad. But the thing I have learned is the agents that brand themselves, that create trust, that, people say, hey, I want to work with this person because I like them and I know they're going to be there for me. That is the key to this business. It's about getting referrals, and it's about generating, and having good retention. And these tools, I know it sounds like technology and it's less personal, but if you don't have any of these pictures and you don't have anything, it can replace those things very, very quickly and just make people say like, wow, this is she's an independent agent, but highly professional, she very highly referred as well. It helps you compete with these big mega companies that have the big budgets, right? And it's evening the playing field for the little guys. And I think that it's a great, powerful thing. The final thing is, and this is more nerdy and more technical, but back in, I guess it was April 1st, 2025, Google really changed their search optimization functionality. Call it what you want. In the old days, it used to be about content, right? People would call me up and say, I need to have a blog. I got to have all these keywords about health insurance and life insurance. That's going to help me get found. And I'd always kind of roll my eyes and go, yeah, I guess. But everyone's got that. Everyone's got the same keywords. Everyone's got the same content. Probably not going to be worth all the energy you put into writing all this stuff. All that changed. And what happened is Google said, look, everyone's kind of creating these websites that aren't professional. They're content, dumps. So they really started to emphasize what's called the Google business listing a lot more. And for all of you on today's call, whether you work with me or not, you should have a Google business listing. It's free. All you got to do is go to google.com/business and create the Google business listing. But what we're looking at here is an example of one for an agent. And if you type in their information, it'll come up. But having the listing isn't the whole thing. What you need to do is you need to get reviews, because what Google changed back in the second quarter of 25 is they changed the SEO to look for the companies that have the most 5-star reviews. Those are going to be the ones that come up first when you search locally for Medicare agent Las Vegas. It's going to list the people who have the better reviews. So one of the things I have been pushing my clients to do is to, number one, make sure you have your Google reviews on. Well, obviously, number one, have a Google business listing. Number two, have a strategy for getting more Google reviews. And this is a common thing I hear from agents all day long. Well, I could have got a ton of reviews, but I haven't put much time into it. I haven't made the effort to tell my clients to review me. I've kind of let it go. And in my opinion, that's a big mistake. And it's something that cannot continue. If you want to keep being in this business for the next 5 years, you've got to have a Google business listing. And if you're doing a good job and people are willing to give you reviews, you've got to start to accumulate those. Having 2 of them isn't good enough. You've got to get 20, then 50, then 100, then 200. So the easiest thing, in my opinion, is to build the reviews into your website and have a button that you're looking at that says leave a review. And that way, if you help somebody and they say, gosh, you were a lifesaver, is there anything extra I can do for you? Can I bake you an apple pie? You say, I don't really need the apple pie, but can you go to my website and click the leave a review button? Just click that. It'll take you into my Google business listing, and there you can give me 5 stars and give me a little review. And if you have it built into your website like that, it just makes it super easy to have a system for telling people and, starting to accumulate it, at least on a one-on-one basis. Look, I know a lot of these CRMs now have drips. They'll auto send those out to get them. Great. Whatever you can do consistently to get more reviews. But if you don't prioritize it, I guarantee you there's going to be pain involved. I guarantee you in the next 2 to 3 to 4 years, you're going to fall behind and go, gosh, I'm just not getting as much web traffic as I used to get. I just don't seem to be getting the amount of referrals I get. It's something like 78% of consumers now, when they get referred, they go onto Google and they Google it to background check it. You want to use that to your advantage. They're going to find you. They're going to find your Google business listing with all these great reviews. They're going to click it. They're going to end up right back at your beautiful website that kind of, has, looks like it was a $50,000 website where there's a video about you telling them, why they should work with you and all that kind of stuff. To me, that's where it is in 2026. All this stuff can be done incredibly affordably. We only charge $85 a month for our website services. Anyway, so something to keep in mind. It's obviously not something that you can just do overnight. You have to have a system, but it is well worth, it's well worth the energy you put into it. So to kind of summarize, number one, I always have people who say, can AI just replace me so that people can just magically go somewhere and just buy an insurance plan and then I never have to talk to them? And the answer is yes, that probably could happen. But you would need a team of about 50 custom programmers and maybe $5 million, and they could write some sort of AI program to do that. So obviously that's not feasible today in 2026. But there are a lot of simple, easy, affordable things with AI that can really help you. Like I said, you can really improve your customer service by integrating it with your voicemail. You can use some of these new video and branding type technologies that, again, I don't charge much. I charge $50. All of a sudden you could have a great video that could promote you. It could be on your social media, and then you could set up a Google business listing and have a strategy for getting reviews. That's free. All that kind of stuff is part of the big picture to help you kind of fend off the bigger companies that are trying to kind of squash us all. And it's like I said, it's even the playing field. You don't need $15,000 to do it anymore. Now, like I said at the beginning of the webinar, these things are changing unbelievably fast. More and more of these tools are coming in. All I can promise you if you're my client is I'm on top of this stuff, constantly going to conventions. I have 3 IT guys myself, Russ, Matt, and Chris. They're pretty nerdy, I can promise you that, and they're into this stuff, and we're constantly meeting on how can we integrate this stuff to help improve these websites. To me, that's all you can do. And you just kind of, if you keep with the pace of it changing, it never feels overwhelming. But if you don't look at it for 3 years and then you try to look at it, it's suffocating to some extent. So for those of you that don't know me, I suggest you check out snoozy.com. Like I said on my website, I have some samples on there. Probably the best place to go initially when you go to the site is just go into the homepage, and up top here, we have our demo, which is about a 7-minute demo. It just reviews our strategies, how we work with people. You can check out our 2026 new features. It goes through our AI custom video creation, our AI animation tools, our customer service widget, our custom landing page tools. I mean, all the stuff I've been pumping out over the last 3-4 months because it's just now available. It's just amazing how available it is. You can certainly look at all this stuff there. But at the end of the day, more than happy to set up a 15-minute call or a customer service call and just talk through your situation, what you're trying to do, and just try to figure out if it makes sense to do it. I've always been a big believer in that kind of stuff. So anyway, I appreciate everyone coming on today. I will send out more information after the webinar, and we'll go from there. Thanks again, and have a great day. Bye-bye.